What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another comic book breakdown. Today we're going to be talking about Miles Morales Spider-Man issue number 2, written by Cody Ziglar. The artist is Federico Vincentini, and the color artist is Bryan Valenza. In addition to the breakdown, I'm also going to be doing a quick recap of the last issue to remind you what happened, because it seems like Starling is going to be playing a bigger role in this series. Oh, and I'm also going to be covering her origin story as well. If you want to skip all of that, check out the chapters down below to go straight to issue number 2. While I am going to be getting into details of the issue, I still recommend getting a copy for your own collection, and plus it's always good to support the creators. Now, without further ado, folks, let's jump right into it. Alright everyone, first off we're going to be jumping into Starling's origin story. Her real name is Tiana Toombs. She grew up in Detroit and she didn't have the best home life. Her parents are Lenora and Frankie Toombs, but sadly her father left when Tiana was young. However, her grandfather not only played a significant role in her life, but he's also the reason she received a suit and became a hero. He's an already established Marvel character and his name is Adrian Toombs, aka the Vulture. He wasn't happy about what his son did to his family, so he hoped to make amends by frequently visiting them and financially taking care of them as well. He loved spending time with Tiana. As far as the finances go, it took some convincing, but Lenora eventually came around to taking the money. Now as time went on and Adrian became closer with her, tragedy struck and her mother Lenora passed away. However, after the funeral, he had a gift for her. It was her very own suit, so she could have a similar one just like her grandfather. Tiana didn't know what her next steps in life were, but Adrian wanted her to follow her dreams of being an artist. He had a spare place in New York City she could use, so Tiana was off to the Big Apple. She's had a hard life growing up, and it's very apparent when you're reading Salad and Ahmed's series. She always wants to work alone and keeps the conversations to a minimum with Miles. She's got some trust issues and she likes being by herself. As the series progresses, you see them become a lot closer, and let me just say, they're an awesome team. She's a great character, and I'm really happy to see Cody Ziglar giving her a bigger role in his newest series. And now, speaking of Cody Ziglar's series, let's talk about issue 1. In my opinion, he is off to a phenomenal start. To be clear, I was also a huge fan of Ahmed's run on Miles as well. I think he really captured Miles' personality and gave us a great adventure going into the multiverse, taking out the clones, and fighting villains on a regular basis. Go check it out if you haven't already done so. There's a ton of trade paperbacks for this one. So now, with Cody Ziglar's first issue, we get introduced with one of Miles' journal entries. This isn't new to the series, and it's actually one of my favorite things writers have done with Miles. It always gives us a better understanding of what he's thinking or how he's feeling. This journal's entry's theme is kindness. He talks about how just a little bit of kindness can go a long way, but what I really enjoyed was that while the entry was talking about how there's still plenty of kind people out in New York, we get introduced to a brand new character named Ranim. In a sense, she's the visual representation of what the entry is talking about. She's giving food to a homeless woman that hangs out near her work. She's nice now, but she's going to be a key character going forward with the story. Now, this wouldn't be a Miles comic without some sweet action, and that's exactly what we get next. Scorpion's in the process of robbing a bank, and Miles is going to save the day. But that's not the big takeaway from this. Miles saves Ranim from getting run over by a car, and as he's stopping the Scorpion, there's a ton of damage happening in the background. If you guys don't remember, heroes are still outlawed from the Powers Act, so technically, while Miles is saving the day, he's actually breaking the law. But if we're being honest here, what's actual canon in Marvel anymore? So the cops show up to the scene, and instead of thanking Miles, they're actually debating on arresting him. He's breaking the Powers Act, and on top of that, they caused more damage to the city than if he would have just let the Scorpion leave with the money. Agent Gal does let him go because he did save that girl, but this is his one and only break. And just think, this is all the start of his day. As always, Miles is having trouble in school too. He's late again, and if you didn't already know, that is a very reoccurring theme throughout the books. You can tell things are starting to get overwhelming for Miles, and I think Ziglar does a good job capturing his emotions. Miles dealt with a lot in that last series, and he never really had time to recover or even process everything that went down. He ends up talking back to one of his teachers and he gets suspended. His emotions are getting the best of him and he finally breaks down to his parents. He gets some good advice to just take it one day at a time. Good advice if you ask me. The next part of the book is extremely important in my opinion. He blows off some steam and runs into the Bumbler. As they're fighting, Bumbler mumbles she wasn't lying about them upgrades. Somebody upgraded his suit, and because he had to resort back to crime because he was so strapped for cash, that means this person did it for free. Remember Ranim from the beginning of the issue? This one ends with her walking back to her work. We learn she's not the nice girl that we were led to believe initially. She's got some back room full of monitors, all watching Miles, his friends, and his family. She knows his secret identity and for some reason wants all of them to pay. She's clearly into tech, and it looks as though she may be the one that upgraded Bumbler's suit, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Now, let's begin with issue 2. Like many of the other Miles Morales Spider-Man comics, we begin with a journal entry. In the last issue, it focused on kindness, talking about how just a little bit can go a long way. If you can recall from the last issue, Miles got suspended from school, so this entry focuses on that. He's just kind of talking to himself about the conversation that went down between him and his teacher the other day. He's definitely in an odd spot because his teacher thinks lowly of his attitude and dedication to the classroom, but little does Mr. Acapulco know, he saves the city on a regular basis. But one theme in this series that's been hitting hard on Miles is him trying to figure out how to balance everything going on in his life. He's been overwhelmed by life, whether it's school, his family or friends, his relationships, and then he's being a full-time hero, so yeah, he's got a lot going on. He's even gotten to the point of avoiding his friends and even Tiana, aka Starling. She's played a fairly big role in the last series, and it looks as though she's going to be playing a bigger role in this one. At this point though, she is getting absolutely tired of being dodged by Miles. She's been reaching out to him and all he could tell her was, "I've been busy with stuff." Of course she knows he's busy with stuff. She knows his secret identity and that he's also a superhero. Now he does open up a little bit to her, letting her know that he just feels lost. He doesn't know what to do with everything going on in his life. It's almost as if he's playing the sympathy card in my opinion. He's got all these problems and keeps telling people that he's got a lot going on, but he's not willing to talk about anything to anybody. Their conversation didn't really have anything positive come out of it. Tiana tells Miles he's just being a selfish jerk, which he is. He's ignoring his best friend and he's not even responding to Tiana, and I mean, that's supposed to be his girl. They end the conversation on a bad note and Miles promises he's going to meet up with her later in the day. But for now, just like last time, he figured stopping crime was the best way for him to clear his head. The last issue dealt with Bumbler, and remember I mentioned I think the biggest takeaway from their fight was Bumbler mentioning that he got some free upgrades to his suit. Well, that's what Miles is trying to deal with now. As he zips back to where the breaking in went down, he noticed something was off. One of the windows was open now, so he's starting to get the sense that he might not actually be alone. This next part of the issue kind of threw me off. It turns out Misty Knight was also in the abandoned warehouse. Gonna be honest with you guys, I'm not sure why she ended up being in this comic, but she ended up playing a fantastic role in this issue, and I hope that we continue to see her throughout the series. So Miles too was confused with her being there, but she said tons of data centers have had their electronics and processors stolen recently. Now we've got Miles looking for clues about the upgraded suit, and Misty Knight shows up looking for stolen electronics. It's almost as if it was meant to be. Genki plays a small role in this issue, and for real, I think he's getting treated the worst from Miles. Miles at least opens up to his parents and lets Tiana know something is off. All he tells Genki is, "Oh man, it's superhero stuff, you just wouldn't understand." Imagine that being your best friend. You've been with him from the start. He knows all of your secrets and he even helps you build new tech, but all you can tell him is that you wouldn't understand. Man, I'd be pretty hurt too, but that's just me. Misty Knight chimes in on the situation, and this is what I meant by playing a fantastic role earlier. She actually acts a bit more like a mentor or a role model to Miles, giving him some life advice. She tells him, as a hero, protecting your loved ones is what you do, obviously, but in the process, you get so caught up in life, you end up pushing them away instead. That's not just great life advice for Miles, but you can apply that to so many situations in life. The thieves are back to finish the job they started, and our detectives followed them in and busted down the doors for the big arrest. Except someone already beat them and tied them all up. It's an odd situation because whoever did it had to act fast, and they basically took out an entire team silently. But then Miles notices it, the stab marks. His spider senses kick in, and our boy Scorpion is back for round 2, and things are a lot different this time. His suit looks off. Just like Bumbler from the last issue, Scorpion mentions that he was able to get some nice suit upgrades, and again, free of charge. This, in my opinion, is the most important part of the fight. So now we know that we've got someone out there on the loose, basically upgrading Villain's suit for free. That's where our story ends with Miles for now, but remember earlier, Miles said he was going to meet up with Tiana? She's at the spot, but somehow Miles said he's also at the spot. Raneem is back and she's got a very fancy tech suit. So the first issue ended with her standing in front of all the monitors watching Miles and his friends. Now electronics and processors are being stolen, and she was even able to hack into Miles' phone to send texts. She's clearly very tech savvy and she could turn into a big problem for Miles. But right now, it looks like Starling is going to be the first to fall prey to Raneem. The thing that I keep looking into more is what she's saying the entire time, with phrases like, "I'm simply here to take what's owed," and "people have been underestimating me my entire life." Miles has clearly done this girl wrong, and she's not having it. This fight wasn't even close. Starling didn't stand a chance against Raneem. Another important detail about her tech savviness is that she hacked Starling's electronic wings, rendering them useless mid-flight. With Starling out of the picture, Genki and Miles' parents are next in line. And that's a wrap on this issue's breakdown. Thank you for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to comment down below your thoughts and theories on the series. If you don't want to miss out on any of my upcoming content, hit that subscribe button down below so you can stay up to date on all of my latest releases. Now, I've got 2 more videos off to the side here with more of my comic book content. Click on one of those, and I will see you on the next one.